challenges and resilience. It's impossible to ignore Yemen's current hardships: war, humanitarian crises, poverty, and political instability. Yet Yemenis endure with remarkable resilience. Communities rebuild, farmers still terrace mountainsides, and families still gather each afternoon for cat-chewing sessions where politics, poetry, and laughter are shared. Yemen is not only a land of conflict, it is a land of endurance, memory, and ancient culture. The legacy of Yemen. From the Queen of Sheba to the skyscrapers of Sherbam, from the first coffee beans to the alien forests of Socotra, Yemen is a place where myth meets reality. It is one of the world's most complex yet most fascinating nations, bridging Africa and Asia, desert and sea, past and present. If the Arab world is a great story, Yemen is its opening chapter, forgotten by some, misunderstood by many, but absolutely essential to the tale of human civilization. Yemen, the forgotten cradle of the Arabs. If the Arab world was a giant family reunion, Yemen would be the elder relative everyone overlooks until suddenly they start telling stories, and then you realize, without them, the whole family wouldn't even exist. Yemen is not just another Middle Eastern country, it's one of humanity's oldest homelands, a cradle of Arab identity, a crossroads of empires, and a land where history, myth, and geography collide in astonishing ways. So, let's journey through a nation that has given the world coffee, poetry, skyscrapers made of mud, and one of the strangest islands on the planet. Geography: Arabia's southwest corner. Yemen sits on the southwestern edge of the Arabian Peninsula, where Asia meets Africa. To the west lies the Red Sea, to the south the Gulf of Aden, and just across the Bab el-Mandab Strait lies Djibouti and Eritrea. This narrow waterway is one of the world's most critical maritime choke points. Every year, billions of dollars in trade and nearly 10% of global oil shipments pass through here. Yemen controls over 2,000 kilometers of coastline, dotted with fishing villages and ancient ports. Inland, however, is where the drama begins. The country is dominated by a rugged spine of mountains that split the desert from the sea. These ranges, like the Sarawat and Hadramaut highlands, create sharp contrasts in climate. In the west, green terraces capture rainfall and support dense villages, while in the east, endless sands stretch into the empty quarter desert. And then there's Socotra, a place so alien that early sailors believed it was enchanted. But more on that later. A land of cities and capitals. Yemen's political situation is complicated, and even its capital is disputed. Officially, the capital is Sana'a, one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities, sitting at 2,300 meters above sea level. Its skyline is unlike anywhere else: tall, decorated mud brick skyscrapers with white gypsum outlines, stained glass windows, and rooftop gathering spaces. Sana'a is sometimes called the Manhattan of the desert, except its buildings are centuries old. But since 2014, Sana'a has been under Houthi control. The internationally recognized government shifted to Aden, a port city on the south coast that has been a strategic hub for centuries. Aden's natural harbor is volcanic in origin, and the British valued it so highly that it became their only true colony in Arabia. Meanwhile, other cities matter too. Taiz, once a cultural capital, famous for its universities. Al-Hudaydah, the main Red Sea port. Mukalla, gateway to the Hadramaut coast. Marib, home to oil and gas fields and the ancient dam that once sustained a great civilization. Yemen isn't just one city or one region, it's a mosaic of centers, each with its own history. History, where kingdoms rose and fell. Few countries have a history as ancient and influential as Yemen. Archaeologists trace civilization here back over 3,000 years, with the rise of kingdoms like the Sabaeans, Manaeans, Katabanians, and Himyarites. The legendary Queen of Sheba, known as Bilqis in Arab tradition, is said to have ruled from Yemen before traveling to meet King Solomon in Jerusalem. Yemen's wealth came from two things: frankincense and myrrh, the aromatic resins prized in the ancient world, and its position on trade routes connecting India, Africa, and the Mediterranean. The Marib Dam, built nearly 2,800 years ago, was one of the most sophisticated engineering feats of antiquity, turning arid valleys into fertile farmland. Islam arrived in the 7th century, and Yemen became one of the earliest regions outside Mecca and Medina to embrace the new faith. Yemeni sailors and merchants carried Islam, an Arab culture, across the Indian Ocean, influencing societies in East Africa, India, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Entire royal families in Southeast Asia trace their ancestry to Hadramaut in Yemen. In the modern era, Yemen became a chessboard for empires. The north fell under Ottoman influence, while the south became a patchwork of British protectorates. After World War II, the north turned into the Yemen Arab Republic, while the south became the world's only Marxist state in the Arab world, the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen. In 1990, the two states united, only to fall into civil war 4 years later. And since 2014, Yemen has been locked in one of the most complex conflicts of the 21st century. Landscapes, from desert to green valleys. Most people imagine Arabia as endless sand dunes, but Yemen surprises visitors with its variety. The western highlands, cool, green, and terraced with farms that grow coffee, sorghum, and cat. Rainfall makes this region a rare oasis of agriculture in Arabia. The central plateau, around Sana'a and Damar, high-altitude valleys support large populations despite their arid climate. The empty quarter, Rub al-Khali, in the north, Yemen shares the largest sand desert on earth with Saudi Arabia. Few dare to cross it. The coastal plains, the Tihama by the Red Sea and Hadramaut shore are hot, humid, and sparsely populated, but vital for fishing. The Hadramaut Wadi, an enormous canyon-like valley system, where mud brick cities like Sherbam, the Chicago of the desert, rise like ancient skyscrapers. Shibam's buildings, some over 500 years old, reach 11 stories high, all made of mud. And then, the jewel, Socotra. Socotra, the alien island. Socotra is often called the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. About a third of its species exist nowhere else. The dragon blood tree, with its umbrella-shaped canopy and red sap, is iconic. Other plants look like giant upside-down carrots or bottle-shaped cacti. Socotra is also home to endemic birds, reptiles, and coastal reefs. UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site in 2008, and despite Yemen's instability, adventurous travelers still find their way there. To walk on Socotra is to feel like you've stepped onto another planet. People and society. Yemen's population is about 34 million, with a young demographic, nearly half are under 20. Society is strongly tribal, and identity often comes from family and clan first. Most people are ethnically Arab, but centuries of trade created diversity. Afro-Arabs from East Africa, Indians, and Southeast Asians have all left their mark. The island of Socotra even preserves an ancient Semitic language unrelated to Arabic, called Socotri. Yemenis are proud of their traditions. Men often wear the jambiya, a curved dagger, as a symbol of honor. Women's dress varies, colorful gowns in some regions, black niqab in others. Poetry is a national art form, with competitions still held in villages. Religion is almost entirely Muslim, divided between Sunni Shafi'i communities in the south and Zaydi Shia in the north. Once, Yemen had a thriving Jewish community, today only a handful remain, most having emigrated to Israel. Economy, once coffee, now oil, and cotton. Yemen is one of the poorest countries in the Arab world, but historically it was rich in trade. In fact, the global love of coffee started here. The port of Mocha gave its name to the famous mocha bean, grown in Yemen's highlands and shipped across the globe. Today, Yemen still grows coffee, but its main cash crop is khat, a mild stimulant leaf chewed daily by millions. The practice consumes enormous amounts of water and farmland, sparking debate over its sustainability. Oil and gas exist, but reserves are small compared to neighbors. Fishing and remittances from Yemenis abroad also play major roles in the economy. Food, hearty and flavorful. Yemeni cuisine is hearty, spicy, and communal. Dishes include salta, a bubbling stew with meat, vegetables, and fenugreek froth. Mandi, rice and meat cooked in underground pits, a dish now popular across the Middle East. Fasa, shredded beef with broth and spices. Asida, a dough-like porridge eaten with sauces. Bread is essential, baked in tandoor-style ovens, and meals are often shared from a single large platter. Tea with cardamom or mint accompanies everything. And of course, Yemenis are fiercely proud of their honey, considered among the best in the world. Sports and culture. Football dominates, but Yemen's national team struggles internationally. Yet local leagues and youth tournaments are lively. Traditional sports include stick fighting, camel racing, and highland wrestling. In culture, Yemen is a powerhouse of poetry and music. The oud, lute, and traditional rhythms influenced not just the Arab world but also East Africa. Yemeni folk songs survive in Zanzibar and among communities as far away as Indonesia.